Wayne with us. Wayne from Creative Loafing. Wayne, we haven't seen you. Wayne Garcia. How have you been?
It's been a long time. Look what you changed Rob into. Jeez, I guess I got to come here more often.
Good looking guy.
I know, right? You look mighty swelt today, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Loving the blue shirt. You're rocking it well.
Rocking this
Dapper.
little sort of aquamarine-ish thing.
So tell me, Jim
going on
Norman.
here?
Jim Norman. I love, by the way, Joe Barty sent us his cover, or the picture, Monday, Tuesday. Loved it. Couldn't
Yes.
wait to read the story.
Yes.
But why don't you tell us what the story is about?
Well, Jim Norman is the athletic supporter, and he's the public official in the Tampa Bay area who is most into getting us the sports that we
Right.
have, which is a good thing and which can be an expensive thing. And I've been writing a lot about how much we spend on the Buccaneers and how much they get. There was a story in the paper this morning in the St. Pete Times about the fact that when USF sells out their games, the Bucs get some of those profits. You know, so they get a little
But
bit
they're
of
also
everything.
playing in the Buck
We got
Stadium.
to pay for the ship.
Well, the
somehow.
Bucs didn't pay for the stadium either.
Wow.
Oh, good point.
You and I paid for the stadium.
Solid point.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but we digress. So I want to look at this as another aspect of spending money on sports. And Jim Norman wants to spend $40 million on a very, very large amateur sports complex.
Right.
30-plus soccer fields,
Right.
football, baseball, softball, so that both they can take some of the pressure off of the overcrowded youth leagues parks all over the county, but more importantly for the viability of this project, so that they can bring in big softball tournaments, big soccer tournaments, and those people come into town, stay in hotels, generate revenue and sales
Heads and
taxes
beds,
and things,
right,
and so heads and
right.
beds, exactly. And so on its face, it was proposed 2 years ago, and to some degree, it made sense. I mean, it's a lot of money for sports, and not everybody is into sports.
Well,
but,
and
you
it
know,
would be in North Tampa, too, and there's not much sporting
Well,
things in North Tampa. Am I correct?
you know, one of the problems with this is it's even beyond North Tampa. It's actually way out in the northeast corner of Hillsborough County, north of Plant City, right now, where there's only a 12,000-acre cow pasture that there's nothing in. And so it's out in the middle of nowhere, and the people who did the study looking at the feasibility of whether this thing would turn a profit or not said the only way that you make money on these kind of things is if you have hotels and retail and
Close
restaurants.
by,
Because,
right.
well, you know, the softball players, they got to have somewhere to go change out of their little tiny, you know, little softball shorts, you know,
and the beds.
and then they got to go buy some wings or whatever. So there are a lot of environmentalists who are concerned about it because obviously it's going to create some sprawl. I mean, this is a rural area out there. It doesn't really have the infrastructure and it doesn't have any development. So you're going to see some development out of this area. Beyond that, one of the more fascinating things that I found about it is it really points out where we're at in government right now in terms of conservative philosophy, and that is that items that tend to turn a profit are going to get funded, and things that don't turn a profit, maybe taking care of, you know, poor, indigent folks,
Yeah, right.
doesn't always get funded as much. Now, Commissioner Norman makes the case, and I have to be fair to him and say this is his case, that the profits from this park are what are going to pay to keep up other parks and recreation that we can't afford the taxes to pay for. But there are a lot of people who are saying in a tight budget year, and we're laying off
We're laying off tons of people, right?
We're laying off tons of people. We're cutting back library hours. We're cutting back parks and rec services. Why would we spend $40 million on this field of dreams? And so that's what the story really is about.
Well, but wasn't there a vote that happened on Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, they vote part of this discussion. One of the reasons it sticks in some people's craw quite so much is because a related agency that will end up booking those tournaments ended up getting a gigantic increase of money from the county. I mean, nearly double the amount of money it had. So the critics of this have said that's only to support this Field of Dreams. But the reality is that's the agency that also helps with the Super Bowl.
Right,
That's the agency that also has booked all the NCAA tournaments. And that money is actually, by contract, going to be used to support those events, which do bring in lots and lots of people. And I assume bring in some economy.
But isn't there money earmarked for this?
Right now, there isn't, and there's going to be a vote in, I think it's about a week and a half from now. No, next one. It's a week from today. It's next Wednesday. They're going to vote whether to take this out of the sales tax revenues as a loan or not to fund it. So right now, it's not funded, but it has survived every vote it's been through, and there are some people who are a little bit concerned, but I would say that most of the commissioners probably would fund this out of sales taxes. There's not a whole lot else. that you can use sales tax for in terms of programs, but you could use that $40 million to build sidewalks, roads, schools. It's
Parks.
capital dollars, parks and parks, yes.
That's true. And actually, I did read the article. Crazy enough as it is, I do read.
There you go.
And I was reading, and all the naysayers, the people that were anti, said, it was his pet project, or it was going to be his legacy, or something like that. But it didn't sound like they had any idea. Give us another idea. Give us a better idea than this.
Well, I think the case that those people make is this: we have a lot of things that we have needs for, and a lot of priorities, and this is one of those projects. It is a pet project of his. He denies it's a legacy project, but it's a pet project of his, and it's not like they had a discussion about here's all the things we need done in our community, and let's prioritize them. Basically, this was sold 2 years ago as, if we do this, it'll pay for itself and generate some additional revenue. So it jumps to the top of the priority list that way. And I think that's what those people resent, is that sports and other things that can turn those profits get then all of the resources, and other things we need in our community don't necessarily get the resources that they think they ought to get.
And we'll have to stay tuned in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, to find out what happens with the vote. What's going on this weekend in Tampa Bay?
Hey, two quick things. In See and Do tonight at the University of Tampa, the novelist Pablo Medina has just written a wonderful book called The Cigar Roller, which is how Tampa could that be. But he is doing a reading from his book as part of the UT Writers at the University Series. That's tonight at 8 o'clock at UT, and that is free. And then the other thing, tomorrow night over the Performing Arts Center, The Axis of Evil. The Axis of Evil.
I thought you were going to say tomorrow night. Be sure to be at Raymond James Stadium at 7 o'clock for our nationally televised college football game on ESPN against the USF Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Hey, you're a bunch of Go Bulls.